Do you believe in twin flames? Because I do not. I'm Jess Coleman, spiritual teacher, counselor, and channel, and one of the most asked questions I receive in relationship sessions is, are they my twin flame? My answer is generally no, and here's why. According to the web, a twin flame is a New Age concept that describes a deep, intense connection between two people who are said to be two halves of one soul in different bodies. Or rather, one soul is split into two. The term is also known as a mirror soul. I remember my first twin flame client. He had been through a divorce and was really struggling to move on. After seeing an energy worker, he was convinced he was on a twin flame journey because she had informed him he and his wife would reunite. They were working out their toxic cycles and meant to be back together because, after all, they're twins. Right away, I knew this was inaccurate and gently told him he would not be getting back with his ex, but instead, in the next year and a half, he would meet somebody new. We talked about the toxicity in the relationship and how they had both tried to make things work, but just couldn't. He felt as though they had a special connection, and after researching twin flames, agreed that they had a lot of symptoms twins have. Because this was my first twin flame session, I needed to research, but intuitively felt he was explaining trauma bonding. Long story short, he never did get back with his ex, and he's still with the wonderful woman he met after the divorce, and they are happily raising their family together. When the twin flame craze busted onto the scene, New Agers went crazy with it. If there is an intense connection that specifically involved a split in relationship, a runner and a chaser, and or abandonment, it was termed a twin flame relationship. This explanation now gave hope to those experiencing toxic relationships or relationships where one of the partners wasn't available, like maybe they were married or they are married, etc. Simple soulmate connections were now termed as twin flames because they had the "we can't be together now because you are not doing your work. But one day you'll do your work and then I won't have abandonment issues and you won't need to save me." So that's my take on that. That's how sacred union supposedly comes into play. What I see is this. Let's start with what I find to be true. Soulmates and soul connections are 100% true. We reincarnate with our spiritual team playing different roles each lifetime, so of course you're going to have soulmates and souls you share deep connections with. These do not have to be intimate connections either. It can be mother-daughter, best friends, dad-son, or maybe you have a soulmate daughter and a soulmate husband. You definitely can have more than one soulmate in a lifetime. I actually believe we have several. What I've discovered is soulmates often share a very unique feeling. One where you just get one another, and maybe you even had or have odd similarities like the same birth date, or your children have the same names. Little things where you raise an eyebrow because it feels odd and the similarities are unique. Oftentimes you have claircognizance with one another. You'll call at the same time, think the same thought, or even complete the other one's sentence. So if you experience all of the deja vu, unique similarities, if it's not twin flames, is it just coincidence? Absolutely not. For one, there's never coincidences, and secondly, we have karmic links and ties that will be felt in our soulmate connections. I call these psychic exchanges. In my opinion, when you soul travel with kindred spirits and incarnate together, you're going to have familiar feelings and these unique impressions and remembrances as though you've known this person your entire life, or you just get things with one another that you don't get with anyone else. When we have psychic impressions or those crazy little Or those crazy little, oh my God, he knew I was at Target and I didn't even tell him I was at Target moments. You may be experiencing remembrance from that moment happening in a past life, or it was exchanged telepathically, because we are constantly transferring thoughts to one another, and when strongly connected, this becomes easier. Don't forget that until we go out of body or die, which we never die because energy can't be destroyed, we don't know if we're experiencing life like a game of Frogger. How do we know we haven't done this exact lifetime 500 times prior? And like in Frogger, every time we die, we come back for another hop. What if this is how we psychically know things? Because we've done it so many times, we can now project the future. I don't have absolute proof until I myself go out of body, but it doesn't sound like a too far off theory to me. So with the twin flame analogy, the couple is essentially supposed to end up together, and after all the running and chasing is healed, you're in your union. The problem with this is sometimes the healing never happens and you wait for something that will never manifest. And I have seen this a lot. What if my client from the beginning I told you about waited for his wife? Possibly he would not have met his new partner because he was closed off to her. Soulmates and karmic relationships are not always going to be forever either. Whether a parent and a child, girlfriend, boyfriend, or even person and pet, there may be a reason that relationship is short-term, and never does a soulmate connection guarantee permanent. We are on this earth to learn lessons, and sometimes that lesson is unfinished business in relationship, or relationships that are there to help you grow and evolve, but then dissipate. My advice is this: if you feel like you're in a twin flame relationship and you have the runner-chaser thing going on, take the other person out of the equation and look at yourself. Be honest with yourself and see where you need to do your work. If the connection is meant to be, that person will end up coming back around. By doing your work, focusing on yourself, you're growing your energy and evolving into higher vibration, which will attract the true partner you deserve. Instead of wondering about your twin or the other person that keeps disappearing, that's married, that's unavailable, honestly, stop waiting for them to get their shit together. Focus on you and see where that leads you. So many times we look outside of ourselves for happiness, and it's all within. When you discover this, you've made your truest connection, which is to self, and everything else is a bonus.